Your life.
Hi. Welcome. We are live. Today we're doing a live show.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Welcome for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome for stopping by. I hope your weekend is good. Happy Monday. So if you're new here, my name is Sarah.
And I'm Davis, and
Yes.
we are
Unscripted.
unscripted.
So today we're going to talk about what it's like working with your spouse.
Yes. It's just like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, the ugly truth about working with your spouse.
Yes.
What are the positives or the negatives? Basically, we're giving you tips from our experience, and some are good, some are bad. You learn from them, you get better, and we're still progressing with our journey.
Yeah, for the guys who don't know us, we have been in business together for how many years now?
Yeah, since
2015, 2016.
2016.
2016,
Yes.
3 years now. So we have a salon and barbershop together, and then we have
an advertising agency.
That is in Kenya.
In Kenya, and then I have my great partners in the US running our business also, a healthcare company pretty much, home group.
Yeah, I'm a partner also.
Yeah.
By
Yes,
default.
by default she's a partner.
Yes.
So
let's get into it.
Okay, so the first thing is, I think when you start doing a business together, you have to be able to identify your personality types. It's very, very important to know who you are and what your partner is, so that you either know how to mash things together, or you know where you can clash it, or you know where your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. Like for me, I'm a choleric and a sanguine. So I'm a choleric in the sense that I really love, I have goals. I'm very goal oriented. I am like, let's just do this. Let's execute. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I'm a sanguine in such a way that I love people. I love to talk in crowds. I love to talk to people. And the people that I work with me know that. And she's a male and a sanguine. No, you're a choleric.
I'm a male and a choleric.
And a choleric, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's a male and a choleric, but she has some sanguine inside also.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what he has just said. I just think the personality is really, really important, because with that you're able to understand your partner's strengths and your partner's not so much strength, weaknesses. You're able to understand, where also as a party yourself, you're supposed to put more effort. Me being a male, I'm very organized. So like when we're doing something, I want to write stuff down. I want to 1, 2, 3, this is supposed to be done at this date and this date, and it's not like that. So understanding each other's personalities helps you know how to identify roles, which is our next point. Identifying roles and clear defined roles. So understanding personality kind of helps you identify roles. So I'm good at this 1, 2, 3, so that's what I do in the business. And then what he's good at, where his strength is, that's what he does in the businesses.
Yeah, like for me, I'm very good at sales. I love sales, and that's, I think, the sanguine side of me comes out. I love sales and I love execution. So when I have an idea and we need to execute it, I love to do that. The planning side of it.
But now I'll take a little bit of time to make decisions.
Yeah.
I don't like that. For him it's good sometimes. When something is supposed to be done like that, he will do that. But also when it's not supposed to be done like that, I come in and I'm like, okay, let's take some time.
Yeah.
Let's go over this, and then let's see the cons and pros before we decide. We make a decision.
And I think the 3 people that I have learned from in terms of knowing how to just take it slow: 1, her; 2nd, my dad; and 3rd, one of my very good friends, Solomon. So shout out to Solomon. Yeah.
Okay.
Being able to just,
Yeah.
Just chill out and don't rush. Don't do
rush.
that too fast. Yeah.
So let me even talk more about identifying roles. Like, have clear defined roles for each other so that you don't like step on each other's toes. You know, like with that, it helps you and understand what's your part in the business. You know, like how any business is run, when, you know, there's a boss, there's a manager, there's that, you know, everybody has their roles. So even you guys as spouses, that doesn't mean like, you guys as spouses, you don't have roles in the businesses. You have to have roles. Who's this, who's that, you know, who's doing that, who's not doing that. So that it kind of helps you understand how to run the business together easily.
Yeah, like in the salon, she's the boss.
Yeah, because that's my strength.
Yeah.
You know, but where I not, you know, like, but also I ask him. And regardless of understanding your strengths and like Iya said, like at the salon I'm like the boss, which kind of guides us to the next point about communication. Me being my strength is in the salon, regardless, I have to tell him everything that I do. Everything that I do. Like if I'm buying something today, I did a shopping for 10,000. Regardless, it doesn't even affect him. But I'm gonna regardless tell him like, you know, today I spent this type of like amount of money here and there. Today I made a decision to do this and this. Today I made a decision to fire someone. Like I have to tell him regardless.
Which is good at that. I'm not the best at that aspect, of which I am working on. In terms of being able to communicate on certain aspects. I feel like sometimes with her personality, being that she might be stressed easily to some extent, so I try as much as possible not to indulge her in some stressful issues, even though I know I should, because she can, you know,
if it doesn't tell me now, it stresses me.
Yeah, she can undertake those type of stressful moments at points and times. So I'm learning to actually be able to just, you know, break down some time in communication and break down what I need to let her know, so that's we can proceed.
Yes, literally, like when we talk about communication, talk about everything. You know, like when we talk about how communication is really important in the relationship, it's really important in businesses. You know, you can't forgo anything like, it will know, oh, that doesn't affect. No, talk about literally everything. You know, how you used some money, how you did this, which decision you decided to make today. You have to talk about everything so that, like, even if you're not together, call him, tell him, you know, like you have to talk about every little detail.
Okay. So our next topic, or next point that I had. So the first one was identifying personality types. The second one was making time for each other. And I have a weakness in that, being a choleric. And, you know, I don't blame the personality aspect of it, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes I get consumed with work, especially when it's stressful. And this is the reality. This is just point blank. Like, it's affected our relationship to some extent, whereby, you know, I know she needs the attention. I know I need to give her the attention and affection, and I withdraw from that because either just so focused on making sure that this happens in terms of business or whatever, and you know that at the end of the day affects the relationship that we have. But I made a commitment at least like 2-3 days ago that I am going to try as much as possible to, you know, I'm not perfect, but I'm gonna try to make the affection or do chores in the house or do certain things that at least can make it, not make it sim, or go towards me making time for her, you know, and not just solely thinking about business and stuff like that. So the important point is basically making sure that you can and you know how to make time for each other. And since I'm not a planner, I will try to do that. I think she's very, very good at that, and she's been able to, you know, strongly say we need to have this specific day for us. We need to have this specific time for us. So it's for me to be able to say, you know what, okay, take these things out the window and just focus solely on her and make it. And that is my fault, and I know I'm working on it. I'm human, and I hope she understands, and I hope you understand.
No. I do. Okay, yes. As he has said, like making time for each other is really important. Working together means you guys are together a lot of time, but don't confuse it as spending time away from business together. Like, because you'll be working together literally from morning up to evening. That doesn't mean you have spent quality time together. You're just doing businesses, like you're just doing business together. You it's like going to work together and just coming back home. So you have to make it intentional, to set time, go dates, just have some personal time away from the business. Which guides us to the other point, which is like have a work life balance.
Okay, in the context of a relationship, yes. I mean, I don't believe in work-life balance outside of relationship. I think when you bring the relationship into the picture, then yes, you gotta be able to know how to balance it and be able to say, yo, this is work time out and this is relationship time. Yeah.
Yes,
You know.
yes. And that's, even for guys who are married and all that, because it can affect, when you said sometimes you can take work now to the bedroom, like literally you can do that. If you like, you have to be careful you don't do that. Like, sometimes you have to have boundaries, because your business partners, so even in the house, in the morning breakfast, you're going to talk about business, so be careful, like you don't overdo it, like have a work-life balance. Maybe even set some deadlines, like from this time, seriously, like we get into the house, we're not talking about business until the next morning. Don't take work
Which is
to your
hard.
bedroom. Which is hard, yes, but you have to make it intentional. Like you have to really, really make it intentional.
Yeah, which is hard for me. Okay, next one. So that brings that brings to the other topic, which is basically bringing stress home. So once you've been able to do the work-life balance in the context of a relationship, then it will be easier not to bring the stress at home. Because, like she said, when you do it intentionally in a way, okay, no, we're not talking about business, nothing about business until tomorrow, then it's easier for you to mentally change your perspective and look at the relationship rather than the business at that particular point in time. So yeah, it helps out with that. So it's making the work-life balance in the context of a relationship intentional. Then at the end of the day, you're able to not bring the stress at home, even though mentally it might be there. But if you're able to channel your thoughts, your talk, conversations, your ideas, or whatever it is about work on the side, and just channel your relationship and talk about it or whatever, it helps. I think it does help.
So the stress part, bringing the stress home, or this, it can be stressful working with your partner sometimes. Like when you go to your workplace, employment or whatever, sometimes like they stress at work. Also, that happens when you're doing business with your spouse. And sometimes like when you're in the office, sometimes like you're having a bad day, some, I don't know, tenders didn't come in or whatever, you will tend to project your anger to the person who's next to you, right? But now in this instance, the person next to you is your spouse. So if work is stressing you, sometimes you can like easily project that stress to your partner. And that's like really bad because then it affects your relationship, like your personal relationship. So you really have to know how to, I don't know, how to deal with the stresses that come with just work, and being able to separate. Don't be careful you don't project your stress to your partner.
And that leads to basically, in that context, this communication. I think once you have the communication and make intentional the work-life balance, then it becomes easier not to bring stress at home, because you've done the communication, the intentional channeling of just the relationship when you're work-life balance. And then so it's like a step thing. And then at the end of this all, we'll go through all the pointers so that you get them visually.
Yes. So
okay, so the last one from my side is spending a lot of time together. So that can actually have a positive and negative.
And a negative.
It can be detrimental to your relationship, and it can be really, really good to your relationship. So I think it's just how you balance it.
Sure.
I think we had been spending so much time together, and I feel like I have been, I don't know, or we've been trying not to like have that. But I think for me, I need to find that balance. Like we need to find that balance of, okay, yeah, we're spending a lot of time together, which is pretty cool. Like it's beautiful. I love it. Like it's so good because at the end of the day, you're able to, create a relationship, create your business, blah blah blah. But you have to realize when it becomes a little bit stressful, when you need your me time, when you need your alone time to just relax. Like she does that. I do that also. But I don't know. I think we need to work on that.
Yeah, we're still working on that.
Yeah,
it's a process.
Yeah, it's a process because I think it's a new thing now. It's a new thing of being able to say, you know what, I need my time right now, and you need your time then. But there's a fine balance because at the same time, if I don't communicate that I need my time, then it becomes like I'm not trying to show her affection. I'm not trying to be with her. I'm not trying to spend time with her, and vice versa. When she has her time and she doesn't communicate that, it feels like that. It feels like, oh, okay, so what's going on? Like what did I do? Like, and maybe she just needs her time by herself. And I think we need to work on the way we communicate that aspect of the relationship, because we spend so much time at work, blah blah blah, and then we drive to work together, we drive home together, we go to the gym together until when I want to go in the evening and she wants to go in the morning. Now that maybe might change a little bit, but even those small moments now, like when she goes to the gym by herself, now that's her time. When I go to the gym by myself, now that's my time. And I think at the end of the day, that helps out a little bit, because now you can say, oh, I've had my time. Now let's go back to it. I think this is a process. We're still not there yet.
Yeah, these are just things we have learned in the last 3 years, but still it's a process. Spending a lot of time together. As you say, there is a negative and a positive to it. And the negative to it is sometimes it can have an effect on your social life, because you get used to doing a lot of things together. Like you do a lot of things together. Sometimes you forget you even have friends, literally. So sometimes bringing in friends to your schedule, it's a little bit hard, and it affects how you have friendships, because you are literally together everywhere. I'm not lying to you. Like you're literally together everywhere. And yes, as he has said, you have to know how to balance. And in that moment where you also want to have your me time, making sure that you're not neglecting him because you're having a me time. I don't know if you understand that. Like knowing how to balance that. Like even if you're having your me time, be careful you don't take away the care or the care you have for him, your partner, or you get what I mean. You get what I mean? Yes. Be careful with the me time and yes. So that brings me also to the other last point is respect each other. Respect. I mean, that everybody knows that. You have to
saying.
Yes. You have to respect each other. And more so like when you're working together, you have to respect each other. And that also trickles down to you have to respect each other's decisions. And sometimes you're not going to be on the same page. Let's start from there. And then from like our first point when you were talking about different personalities. So you have to understand that this is a different, like an individual who has his own mind, he has his own way of thinking, So when you're discussing things, you're trying to make decisions together, you have to have respect for each other. Regardless if the other person who is your partner that doesn't have the same view as you, you have to have respect regardless of anything.
Yeah. I don't know anything to say. I mean, it goes without saying, you gotta be able to respect each other. And respect goes in different, from my mind, it's action and words, right? So it's what you do and what you say, yeah? And then you gotta, I think for us, even in the process, we've been talking about this respect, because there's sometimes I've talked to her and she feels like you're not respecting me, and sometimes she's talk to me and I feel like, oh, you're not respecting me. So for us, I think it's been more of what you say than what you do. I don't think we've gone to that level where you're doing crazy stuff or I'm doing crazy stuff. out to show disrespect. But it's more of what you say and more of what I say. So I think we're working on that. We've had plenty of arguments or disagreements or conversations about that. So we're still a work in progress on that. And was that the last point?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me go through what I said. Number one for me was clear defined roles, have defined roles for each other. Number two is communicate. Number three is have a balance, work-life balance. And number four for me was respect each other.
Okay, perfect. My four were identifying your personality types. Two was make time for each other. Three was do not bring stress at home, or how to handle that. Number four was spending time together, how it can be positive or negative. Yes.
And I want to add this, working together as spouses, you have to understand sometimes it may work or not. It's not always going to work working with your spouse. And right? Yeah. And it's good that you understand that. Like, how can I put it? Not all couples are compatible to work together.
Yeah.
And for us, it's been 3 years and I really can't complain. I honestly love having him as my partner.
Me too.
Yes, I do. Like, I do trust him. Trust is a big, for us it works. And for the last 3 years and, more coming, I know this works, But also I want people like couples who go into businesses and after a while you realize it's not working, then you have to stop. Because I feel like you have to put your relationship before business. If it's not working for you, like working together, then like separate, save your relationship instead of business.
Yeah. And I think why it works for us, honestly, is because I think when we even started dating, I think we had that similar vision. I mean, we had a vision of building together. So even if we fight, even if we do whatever, that thing is still there. It's like we know we're building a big vision together, right? Like she had her vision, I had mine, and we were able to mash them up together. And initially what I usually used to say, Kitambo, is like, I have a woman who can cook and can be in a conference, business meeting, boardroom, chairing it, Like she's a boss lady and she can handle her thing, basically, unajua. And that's, for me, is fantastic. And not every woman can do that, yeah? Not every woman can be able to handle the stresses of business and also handle the stress of home.
And it's a lot, and I'm still learning.
A lot, and it's
a lot.
Not easy, and I can tell you.
I'm thankful, like I haven't gotten kids yet, so it's maybe easier to balance.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna do.
And babe, you've come a long way. To everybody, I want to say, like, you have really, really come a long way. I remember when we started the salon, and man, it was the most stressful times ever.
Yes, because it wasn't
and I wasn't
around.
even around.
Oh.
But I'm grateful I wasn't around because she was able to manage it. She was able to handle. Oh my goodness!
No, I was stressed.
But she was able to handle it, and that has built so much strength for you. True. In terms of business. Now, even when you're going through some other things,
now they don't
affect you. Yeah, they're just like,
like I'm not stressed.
I know how to handle that.
You build some resistance to little bits of stresses. They don't stress you normal.
That was good that I wasn't that. But
no.
honestly, you've come a really, really long way, and more years. No.
Okay. So I think we're going to be done.
Okay.
Because we about go to work. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Videos every Monday, every Friday.
Yes.
And you can tell us what you want us to talk about.
We're upping up our game. We're upping our game, huh?
So have a fruitful and productive week. And as we always say, gratitude is a choice.
Happiness is a choice.
And
love is a choice.
Bye-bye.
Bye.